Hello and welcome to another podcast edition of Taiwan Talk, ICRT's weekly interview segment, bringing you conversations from and about Taiwan. I'm Keith Manconi. If you are a resident of Taipei, or if you've paid a visit any time in the last 6 months or so, you've probably heard the news or seen the placards. Taipei is the World Design Capital for 2016. And in gaining this biennial designation, Taiwan joins the likes of Torino, Italy, which had the title in 2008. Seoul, South Korea had it in 2010. And Helsinki, Finland had it in 2012. So, that all sounds pretty impressive. These are world-renowned cities with world-renowned culture. But what exactly does it mean to be the World Design Capital? Is it just an official-sounding title, or is there more substance to it? Well, the Taipei Department of Cultural Affairs is sort of spearheading the city's efforts to help organize the events that come along with being the World Design Capital. And I got a chance to speak with the department's commissioner, Beatrice Hsieh, about what this is all going to mean. The commissioner has been on the job for only a few months now, but she's got some big ideas for how this event and design concepts, new design ideas, can really change Taipei for the better. Beatrice Hsieh, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hi.
So this is an event that's kind of organized by the International Council of Societies of Industrial Design. And part of what's going to be going on here is, A, it raises Taipei's profile internationally, and B, it organizes all of these events for designers both in Taiwan and around the world to come together, share ideas. So tell us a little bit about that aspect of it.
Okay, so don't forget that we have to work with from the state bureaucrats, the local designers, and also all those scholars, professors all over the world.
So there's a lot of levels to this.
So to begin with, we would invite local people, communities to get use of the so-called social design as a process for them to have thorough discussions on whatever they would like to change, make a change. So design hasn't helped us too much if we get stuck with the objects or all the functions of the objects. So it's better to prepare our minds with an alternative way of thinking by designing the new path or the new patterns of the way we communicate also. So social networks are also encouraged to be involved. More discussions or troubleshooting among communities. And
so you're saying the focus needs to be on people. And so therefore you need to get all these people involved, get them together, so they're not just making, pretty objects, not just making pretty designs.
Or
it's
just
something
to
that...
show off the egos of the designers. Sometimes designers are considered they make fuss out of nothing or something little, just because they encourage people to spend more money on trivial things, might not work that perfectly. So I think, we have already targets on all those trivials to make life better via technology or mass production or custom making objects in last century. But at the beginning of 21st century, we always try to think for the community to make everybody more humanistic or humanities based. So it's a real people focus that we want to have here. Yeah.
Let's back up even just a little bit further because Taipei has been preparing for this year for years and years and years now. Let's back up to the very beginning. How did Taipei even qualify to become the World Design Capital?
Yeah, I think, like you say, it took ages for us to get qualified. And in comparison with the other cities, I would say that they always get use of the state power to promote it or to organize all the events with the national power, except for Taipei. Taipei has to rely on itself. I must say that, first of all, Taipei has been always so international.
Mm-hmm.
And the most splendid metropolitan.
Mm-hmm.
On top of it, I think which makes it so competitive is it enjoys the total freedom of speech.
Mm.
Yeah, so there's no taboo, no restriction, no censorship, unlike all the other Asian countries.
Mm.
So
it can stand out in that way.
Yeah, and then we don't believe in mass production. So we attend to all the details and the individual needs, which I believe the future era will tend to be more human and attend to individual needs. Yeah. So unlike in the last century, we tried to rush things in, and so we standardize everything. And for instance, you have your Android system, or you have
Right.
So I would think the whole world becomes really boring in a way, just because we don't play complementary roles, and somehow we tend to lose the drive to work in togetherness in a more collective way, but aiming at different
like a community base.
Community base, yeah.
It's interesting what you're saying there, because I mean, when the kinds of industries that you're talking about, we might find them on Dihuajie or the night markets or something like that. They're usually referred to as, Taiwan's traditional industries, sort of industries from an older time or an older era. It sounds like what you're saying, though, there is for designers around the world, for people that are thinking about what is the world going to look like in the next 50 years or so, you're saying that in a lot of ways, that kind of mentality of small production, original ideas, community-based, you're saying that that's the future of design in a way.
I believe so. Just let's think about. I wonder which countries are your favorites in Europe. For me, it'll be like Italy. Mm-hmm. Italy has been in power for 2,700 years, and we all enjoy Italian food, fashions, arts, or music. Also, it's because they are divided into, I would say, thousands of communities. They never compromise with globalization by losing their local flares or the local context. So when we get connected, so well connected by social network, by websites, we tend to be in fear of losing self. Or when we identify with others readily, I think we also desire to be acknowledged as a person. Yeah. So design is supposed to make everybody be recognized, and to serve their needs, their desire, their dreams, and their existence. So it's not only by owning the object, or to buy the certain brand in order to identify yourself with the certain brands or the objects. But on the other hand, all this or the objects designed by all this creative mind should serve the other creative minds. Although they might not be specialized in arts or technology also. So if you think, for instance, when Shakespeare was composing his dramas, he belonged to a minority. English was not even considered as a proper language.
It was all Latin back then.
Yeah, and also like Mozart, when he was composing his opera, German was not supposed to be the language for seeing opera. And so all these minorities and all these people insist on speaking their own language, voicing their minds in individual ways. in the most contemporary way. They create the future classics for us. Nowadays, we consider Shakespeare's dramas or Mozart's music as classic.
So you're saying that these events are really about finding those people with very particular perspectives and new ideas and empowering them
yes,
in Taiwan.
Because this is how Taiwan survived. Just imagine that Taiwan being the origin for Austronesians, ethnicities, and culture. Mm-hmm. And it's dated back to almost 50,000 years ago. It's the longest surviving old ethnicity group in the whole world. And it covers the holistic Pacific Rim. So it's from Hawaii Island, Easter Island, down to New Zealand, Africans, Madagascar. And they all originated from Taiwan. So all these island countries are reserving the most diversities in the world and conserving all the dialects. Maybe most of them could not be written into words. But still, by keeping all these diversities alive, we contribute to the whole world. So meaning that Taiwanese are so different, unique. They never try to standardize the whole world. They don't want to take over the whole world. When our ancestors land on any of this island, they just try to make the most out of it. When they were ready, they keep moving on. They might migrate or immigrate to others. And so by moving in and out, eventually we even forgot we were all from here. So design is about this. It's not really to make distinction. It's to make sure that we can share. Yeah, and then the more we share, we will realize we have so much similarity in common instead of differentiating from each other.
This is great. I think this is the most philosophical, the quickest one of these conversations has gotten so philosophical before. Very interesting. So, right. So you're saying that Taiwan has this very unique character of embracing diversity and embracing new ideas. And you're saying that goes back as far as there have been people on this plot of land. Very interesting. Yes. Let's take a look, though. I mean, as part of the preparation for these events, I mean, it's not just philosophical. Some of the idea here is actually changing Taipei itself and bringing some of these ideas into Taipei. And that began before this year as part of the application process. And some of those ideas are getting incorporated this year as well. So can you talk a little bit about how Taipei is being changed with some of these design concepts?
Okay. First of all, I regret that most of our politicians are not fully cultivated culturally.
You can say that on air? You can say that?
I could say that, because
all right.
Don't forget that I've been curator and critic all my life. It's just... so
now that you're in city government, you're not going to stop?
You must remember that you have to learn from the private sector in order to serve the public agency. That's what I believe. So in this way, and I must say that, if we can change their minds, we can remindset them, we can leave them do whatever they would love to do. So in this way, first of all, it's amazing that after 3 months of efforts, after I reported my death and making some difference in comparison with the former years, Mayor Ke has made the decision to have me and my team to provide him with the next edition for World Design Capital, because I convinced him that every year could be the World Design Capital for Taipei. Yeah.
So we should always be rethinking how we approach city life.
Not to mention that if you have a survey on how Seoul or Helsinki reinvented themselves, you realize that they didn't make the most impressions during the year they were being appointed as the World Design Capital, but 3 or 4 years afterwards.
So it's a long process.
It's a long process.
Could you give us some examples, though, of specific changes?
Okay, so for Taipei, For instance, that nowadays all those the other commissioners in charge of like traffic, urban planning, education, or even marketing, they will come to us to ask for help. They never really cared about what the cultural affairs departments are doing. But nowadays, so for instance, the traffic departments, including the metro company, they will come to us as people get confused with our new signs. So we will help them out to redesign the signs. And for instance, as the urban planning departments are so good at demolishing some signboards, cover the facade of the building, but after you tore them down, what can you do with them? So it's better to propose a new schema, an alternative schema to serve the local colors or in better proportions or in more proper materials for them to reinstall all those signboards or to decide the color or material for the facade of major high-rises also.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so we were invited nowadays, to help out. Although eventually the other department will be the one to reinforce all these regulations. But in the past, they were just reinforced by their own power, by their authority, without some other prepositions involving and to make people better perceive or to feel or just to get to know that they do have local colors or materials they should identify their community with.
So the artists, basically, one way to put it would be the artists have a seat at the table now. They have at least, they're at least consulted in big city changes.
Yeah, naturally, if possible, we would love to have the Office of Design or the Chief of Design installed in the city government. And I'm quite confident after 4 years of efforts, Helsinki has already have an open call for the submission to apply for the job as the Chief of Design. So this Chief of Design will be directly responsible for whatever decision the mayor makes. And this chap, whoever is going to be, has the total veto power of whatever the mayor and his office makes.
So you artists, you designers, you're getting power hungry, is what it sounds like.
Well, at least, don't deny our existence. And then we all try to transcend to outgrow the past, to transcend the reality.
Now, in addition to all those big changes that you're talking about right there, there are also a number of events that are going to be taking place this year, especially in October. I'll just run through a couple of the names real quick. We've got the Network of Cities meeting. We've got the International Design Policy Conference. We've got the International Design House Exhibition. So these are essentially big conferences that, like we kind of mentioned earlier, are going to bring designers and experts from around the world sharing ideas, all here in Taipei. Tell our listeners just a little bit, if you could, for those of us who are not designers, who are not experts, is there a way for us to participate in this, or is there a way for us to get something out of all this?
Of course. First of all, there are plenty of exhibitions being proposed. So if you follow the timelines, if you already missed those one having to do with like Sweden also, and you are not going to miss the special exhibitions. So we work together with Germans and Israelis. Because like Israel specialized in creating some designs according to prevent catastrophes or like
disaster
wars.
prevention.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Taiwanese is always under the fear, being threatened by natural disasters. Yeah. Or I tend to forget about the war. So and
man-made disasters. Yeah.
Or like with Germans, we try to propose more design to care for like the senior elderly. for the elderly people who love to stay at home or to take a walk, but we have to think for their needs.
Those design experts from those two countries, you're saying that they're going to be present at these exhibitions and sharing some of their ideas.
Yes, and of course there are some events, something we've already done and asking for further evaluation. For instance, we have already changed about 200 of the transformer boxes lined all over Taipei City.
Right, those boxes that have the kind of big paintbrush strokes on them, so some kind of environmental design like that. Those are getting changed out this year.
There are more than 9,000 of them. We cannot really remove them in short while. But at the same time, how we convert them into even like an info box. So, for instance, we can talk with different groups and to decide the icons we all need, just like you use your iPad or computer monitors. As long as you can identify the icons, you find the purpose you need to serve. And need to be served. So we are going to transform all those transformers into the panels for covered by icons. So for instance, when you are nearby the Taipei Opera House, and you only need to scan the icon on the transformer box, and then you get the whole program. And knowing that if there's any seats left or where is the most nearby cafe, you can take a walk.
So it's sort of like QR codes.
Yes.
You can swipe your phone over it and get local information.
Yes.
Very relevant. So is that an idea that came out of one of these events or came out of this year's activities?
Came out of this year's activities, but you must understand when for instance when Mac introduce the new icons, they still have to convince people.
Had to win some people over.
Yeah. So instead of trying to provide people with lots of translating softwares, and maybe I believe that the next generation will rely on icons to communicate with the whole world. And making all the tourists or the whoever unfamiliar with Taipei, they just need to take a walk. Easily they find their way, find whatever they would love to enjoy from the city. So
all right, so there you have it. Just one of the ideas that have come out of the World Design Capital events so far this year. Before I let you go, because we are running out of time, but before I let you go, how can people learn more about what's going on this year and how to get involved?
Yes, you just turn on our Facebook. Make yourself join the Facebook or you can just key in the website.
So it's just World Design Capital. Search that on Facebook, and folks out there can get all the info they need.
You are also going to see some commercial film or some short films everywhere, like on bus or metro, and wait to see how we convert some metro stops.
All right. Yeah. So it's all around you. You can find it everywhere in the city. We have been speaking today to the Commissioner of the Taipei Department of Cultural Affairs, Beatrice Hsieh. Beatrice, thanks so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to another podcast edition of Taiwan Talk. Taiwan Talk, of course, broadcasts every Monday at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. on ICRT FM 100, right after the top of the hour newscast. Please do take a moment to check out our blog. You can find links to more information about World Design Capital events coming up this year, what projects are underway, what designers are going to be in town, and how you can get involved. While you're there, please do leave a comment. We always love to hear what you have to say about these topics. Or make your way on over to iTunes, where you can rate and review the show. This helps us out both by giving us an idea of what you're thinking, and also it really helps other people discover the program, so we appreciate that as well. Signing off from the ICRT studio, I am Keith Menconi for ICRT and Taiwan Talk. Thanks so much. See you next time.